Welcome to Libby's Lounge Author Hangout Edition. Today we have Ida Marie. How are you?
Hey, good. How are
Uh,
you?
Good. And here we talk about not just the books, but we talk about the authors because the books are great, but the authors are even better. So, what projects are you working on? That's what I love to talk about is what projects you're currently
So,
completely obsessed with.
so at the moment, I'm working on the third book in my series called The Martyr's Shadow. The first two are out. Um, I have a couple things in the oven right now. I have the third book. It's with my editor right now. It's about to go out to ARC readers, which is really exciting. Should be coming out end of January, hopefully, because I have a signing event beginning of February. So if the books aren't out, we're in trouble. Um, we have the audiobook for the second book in my series, Prince of Paradise, coming out next month as well. It's going to be kind of hectic. And then while I'm waiting for my editor, I started book four. So I love doing it. So I tried to take a break and I couldn't do it, which
Yep.
I guess is a good thing. But you just got to gauge yourself if you're burning out, if you're not. And I just wanted to keep trucking along. So here we are.
Yes, all the projects. And I feel like the beginning of the year we have so many projects because it's the projects that we didn't finish in 2024 are spilling over and the projects we want to start in
hmm
2025 are begging to be started. So I feel like December, January is authors hell week.
I honestly am loving it right now because it's like the blackout week between Christmas and New Year. I almost said 4th of July. I don't know why. Christmas and New Year's, and I don't have work. So it's been kind of nice because I can just like wake up, go to the gym, and then just dedicate 4, 5, 6 hours to just
that is
writing,
that is so
which has been
nice.
incredible. Yeah.
I I was looking forward to doing that and then I got the new job and I went from like I have a 16-day break to you have 2 days off.
Are you still doing teaching? Are you doing English again? Or what'd
No,
you get as a job?
they offered me the secretary position at the school, and so I took it.
Congratulations!
Thank you. But it's like a really good opportunity for like networking, and it's a steady paycheck
hmm
because I was subbing before, which will fund all the
Oh, right.
author things like the editor and the audiobooks and you know
I'm so
all the
excited for
subscriptions
you.
we pay for. Thank you. Uh,
I know.
so, so you write? Is it? It's science fiction, right?
Yes. Also, for reference, I'm looking over here because the recorder is over here, but the big monitor, you're up there. So if you guys see me looking this way, it's because you're over here. Sorry, continue.
Uh, so you guys you get like 2 weeks off, like just for the break.
Um, my company is European, so they already give me a little bit more vacation
Oh,
time than the average American. But I
that's
also didn't
amazing.
take a vacation this summer, so I have extra time. And then since I work in biology, I sometimes have to come in on the weekend just to make sure like my experiments didn't explode. So I can track those hours as well. And those add up throughout the year as well. So, when I'm taking a day off for my birthday, I'm using vacation hours or weekend hours, not vacation time. So by the end of the year, I usually have a decent amount of time.
That is really cool. I love learning about like other countries like policies on vacation. In Japan, they have so much time. Like they have holidays for like Mountain Day, they like Dog Day. Like they just have days off because it's like
I
they've
love that.
declared it. Yeah. Like it's Mountain Day. Everyone go hang out in the outside.
I will
What?
say, I work for a German company. Yeah, I work for a German company, and we have affiliates in France, Germany, Ireland, the South America, North America. And I will say the North American people get pretty salty because European versus American vacation time is very different. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll have your French colleagues just message me and be like, "Hello, I'm gonna be gone for the next 6 weeks because we have summer vacation." And I'm like, we work for the same company. Where's that for me? And they're like, hmm. But I will say, my European colleagues get paid less. I don't know if that's cost of living. I don't know. So
Oh.
I don't know if it's because they get more vacation time or if it's cost of living. And either way, I'm salty because most of my European colleagues are away for the summer.
You get to do all your experiments, though, all on your own, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, we obviously, like, my lab operates with them, but we can do independent work. So it's just like they're another team that we can work with. And the only time there's really a bottleneck is if, we're working with them and I don't get a response for like 4 weeks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that would be frustrating. What's okay, I am so intrigued by you being a scientist. Like that just is the coolest thing in the world. Because I think in my head, like math and science and English do not mix because my math and science and English do not mix. So how did you become a scientist and a writer?
Honestly, there were two different camps. I fell in love with writing because of an English teacher I had when I was younger. And I fell in love with, honestly, they're a lot more combined than you think, but I got to them very different ways. I was obsessed with sci-fi, mutants, X-Men, sci-fi movies growing up. And so when I went to school and started reading books like that, I obviously fell in love with the art. And then my obsession with the art, my obsession with X-Men, Outbreak, all those plague movies, pandemic movies.
Yes.
I was the one who was like, I want to be the doctor that goes into the middle of all of that, which they always die. I don't know why I wanted to be that one, but here we are. But anyway, like my obsession with those movies and those stories is what made me want to put on a white coat and like a lab coat and learn the actual scientific background. Middle school me was hoping I'd get in a lab accident and get superpowers.
Yes.
And then high school me was like, okay, that's not going to happen, but at least I'm kind of doing the same thing and I understand what these movies are trying to say and I understand the jumping off point between what we know, like what's science and what's fiction. And so that intersection is kind of where I am now. So, yeah.
My niece did microbiology.
So fun. So fun.
I remember I was reading papers for her, and she was talking about what is it like? Maybe it's not microbiology, where like the bacteria, not bacteria, like plants becoming inside a person's body and then like taking over. Maybe it is bacteria. I can't remember.
Oh,
it is like, very early over here in Japan. God dang it! Me and her talked about it forever.
What time is it?
It's like 6 a.m.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I would have pushed this off. I'm sorry.
No. We get up at 5. Like we get up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel better.
Actually, I was up at 4:30 because I heard people in my house. And I was like, "Who's in my house?" My daughter's having a sleepover, and they just never went to sleep last night.
Oh, that makes sense. How old are they?
13 and 14.
I did not know you had a teen. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Oh my God. You look so young. I thought we were like the same age.
Thank you. No, I've got an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old. And
oh my goodness.
We've hit
anyways, I digress.
Sleepover, no sleep. I think
yep.
she's a hangover
Okay.
at that point. But yeah, so I was up early. But she does there's a show based on it. I can't think of the name of that.
Oh. Last of Us, cordyceps. They're not plants, they're more fungi. Yeah. It's sad that I know this, but fungi are parasitic while plants are more, they do their own thing. I mean, there's obviously an intersection, but that's why they can live in a human. Plants wouldn't be able to do that because they don't really have the facilities to take over. We're not going to get into that because I could. Yes, fungi are terrifying.
Okay, yeah. Me and her went down a rabbit hole like this, and I was like, "So that's how we die?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's how we die."
I mean, so my degree is in biomedical sciences because I wanted to be a doctor, but my minors were immunology and microbiology because I wanted to go into plagues and studying all that fun stuff. I didn't end up doing that. So this is like my wheelhouse. Basically.
Okay, let's talk about it. Educate us.
Basically, why Micro and immunologists are so it's kind of like the intersection. Immunology is how the body fights off disease. Well,
Hmm.
microbiology is the biology of disease. So, or
Okay.
like what those pathogens are doing versus immunology is how your body's fighting said pathogens. Why The Last of Us got a lot of people really worked up is because it's as accurate as you could probably get. We don't have a mechanism to fight fungi. That's why, like, if you have athlete's foot, you're just kind of in trouble because it's not going away. Um, they're just
Hmm.
so much more complex than bacteria that we don't have a way to kill it. And obviously, viruses, they're not living, they're pseudo. So if they're outside of a human cell, they die. Well, fungus, they're more complex. They basically have their own systems, their own rate, like they have their own thinking. Like there's studies showing that they have ability to perceive
Okay.
their environment, which is not good.
Awesome.
And then I'm sorry, I don't want to scare people.
No,
And
no,
then the next
keep
part
going.
too, yeah, is unlike bacteria where, they're kind of working independently, but they kind of become a group. Fungi, like they team up, like they work together. And our bodies just don't know how to fight it. Like bacteria are so much weaker compared to fungi. And that all combines, like there's some antifungal, but it doesn't actually kill them. It just kind of wards them off. And all of that is
Really?
like a perfect storm of chaos. And the only reason why fungi aren't a bigger issue is because they're not really interested in us.
Yet.
And they can eat, fungi is really good. But they're more focused on like nature and living in the forest. And when they make that
Oh,
jump,
so
that's when we're like, oh, yeah.
so we're creating our own worst enemy because we're destroying our environment, and then the fungi is going to turn on us and be like, "Okay, then."
I don't know. That's a little outside my. Obviously, I'm not into botany. I'm not, and fungi technically start to intersect into that. What I studied was when fungi becomes pathogenic, which
Hmm.
isn't. There's not a lot into it. It has the capability to be pathogenic, and like The Last of Us and zombies and cordyceps, it's not quite there yet. And as they were saying, fungi prefer more tropical environments, and we're coming out of an ice age. So for the longest time, fungi were an issue because the world was naturally in an ice age era. And that's why The Last of Us scared a lot of people because we're coming out of an ice age and we're going into a more temperate environment. So it's a better, but that's the same for all pathogens. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, they love warmer climates. So
Hmm.
not to doomsday people, but yeah.
No, doomsday us. I love it. I am not a conspiracy
I
theorist
really,
all the
I
time.
really want to write. I have a plan. I mean, it's in the distant future because I want to finish the series first, but I do want to write a book that I really just kind of delve into my pathogen immunology knowledge and write a story about an alien race that basically just injects a plague on planet Earth and you watch the plague kind of take over,
Do
like
it.
sci-fi horror. But I gotta wait. I gotta
That
finish
sounds
my,
really
my
good.
current project. Gotta finish my
I
current
know,
work
that's so
first.
hard. How many books do you have planned in this one?
I have five. There's definitely potential for, prequels or sequels. Depends on how tired I am. A lot of people want some short stories like spin-offs. Might do that. You have like six, right? Six or seven planned?
Planned? Yeah. I have six planned, but I don't know the arc of the last one fully. So that
Okay.
might have to be split into two books. The prequel, right? I was telling you guys that I was writing the prequel,
Yeah.
was supposed to be a novella. I was like, I'm going to write two short novellas that are prequels in between these so we get like a look at our bad guys and like the whole mentality that
Hmm.
my characters don't know that's coming. This book, like, I'm like, this is going to have to be two books. And they're books. This prequel. So I'm trying
Yeah.
to find a good way to
Yeah.
like streamline it. That's what I messaged you guys about last night because like I think I figured it out.
Yeah,
We'll
that was
see.
so exciting. I know that feeling. So when you texted it to me, I was like, I love when that happens.
I am
It's so
hoping
wholesome.
I can pull it off, but I have to do a timeline. Um,
Hmm.
and we'll see. We'll see. But
Love
yeah.
it. I love it.
But prequels are fun. I am enjoying it. And short stories, I do short stories, but I do them on the Patreon. You should do a Patreon.
I, girl, I can't even get like more than 4 arc readers. I don't think I'm gonna get a page.
I okay, so I said the same thing. And I don't have that many people on the Patreon right now, but I'm slowly getting like more. Um, but somebody told me Patreon is a long-term game where
Right.
the more content you put up, so like the first 6 to 8 months, like
Yeah.
you're not going to have anybody, but at that like 8, 9 month mark, people are going to go on and see they have a year's worth of stuff that they can indulge in. And that's when you start. So it's like,
Oh,
yeah, because if you go onto the Patreon now, you have like 4 months worth of stuff. So people are like, eh. But, in 4 more months, they're going to have probably a short, like a whole novella. They'll have all this background, tons of videos that they can just jump into.
that's pretty
So,
cool. I might, I think I want to set my, I kind of want to do what MT Zimney did. Kind of want to set my
mhm.
base up first. I want to put all my energy into completing the series. So
Yeah.
I have a finished story, a 5 book series, high quality, I'm confident about. And then I'll start to branch off and do the different, because I came into this being like, okay, I'm gonna spend 2 grand a book. And if I
Mhm.
spread that out, publish a book 6 to 9 months in between, I'm spacing that out enough where I can front that cost. I'm not
Yeah.
looking to turn a profit anytime soon. This is a hobby for me. I want to see what I can create if I put a decent amount of money and time into this. Obviously, I don't want to like bankrupt myself, but so for me, it's not even me trying to get readers right now. I mean, I love that.
You want to get
I
the
want,
you want to get the book
yeah,
done.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I want to get the series done because I mean, I would love to go viral. I would love for my book to pop off,
That'd be awesome.
but it would be awesome. But at the same time, I'm sitting here like, hey, Isabel, don't put pressure on yourself. Just enjoy the process and then get everything done. So then if a book does go viral, I have the whole series complete. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where my headspace is at, but
That's a good plan.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't have control over I have some control over
Wayne,
marketing.
we don't have
Yeah.
control.
I
That's a lie. We have zero control over marketing. Come on now.
I mean,
That's what I feel like. I feel like I throw spaghetti at the wall and see what
yeah.
sticks and then draw a picture and then hopefully it looks good. That's what I feel like my marketing
But you
plan has
have
been.
control. I guess my headspace right now is you have control over choosing to throw spaghetti at the wall.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I've
yeah,
only really been I've only really been on TikTok since June 2023, so I wasn't on there for long. I've only been a published author since for a year, and I see a lot of authors publish one book. And listen, everyone has their different vibes. Everyone's like,
yeah.
"Hey, I just wanted to publish this one book, and we'll see what happens." But for me, I go, I want this to be a viable option in 10 years. Like you said, Patreon's a long-term thing.
Yeah. This is a
I want
long
to have a
term game.
backlog. Right. I want to have a backlog built so when I do start to hopefully experience popularity, people can come back in and be like, "Oh, I can read this
Mhm.
book, this book, this book. They all have they all seem high quality. The cover art looks good. I can trust this author."
Yep.
And yeah, I don't but
That's
that's
such
the
a good
thing,
goal.
as I see some authors get discouraged. They're like, "Well, I didn't become a bestseller." Well, yeah, I got discouraged too, but that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
And then you see them,
It's like one
I
in a
mean,
million.
you're busy. Yeah, you're busy, but then you see them stop posting on social media and you see them stop. And there's a difference between giving up and life getting in the way, right? But I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of people slowly give up or say, I'm not going to keep writing this story because I didn't turn a profit. You shouldn't expect to, um,
No.
unfortunately, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
that was
This
a
is
headspace. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, that was a headspace. Like, when I published my first book, obviously, we all have that pipe dream of, like, this is going to go viral. Like, we're going to be
Yeah.
great. And lose faith in that dream until it's 2 months in and you've sold, 10 copies and you're like, okay, I guess I am having that uphill battle. And I was in a rut for a little bit, being like, oh, well, I see all these people on TikTok selling thousands of books in their first day. And, sometimes people are just lucky, but sometimes there's that groundwork that a lot of people don't see.
On the back
This
end.
author's already published 6 other books or something like that. And I finally just was like, I think I made a post and it did pretty well where I was like, all right, I'm done comparing myself. Some people have contacts we don't know about. Some people published books years ago that we don't know about. And so they already have a community, they already have a base. Some people get lucky. Some people use the right hashtag, the right audio at the right time. You can't compare.
Nope.
And if you're a romance author, you're automatically going to get more sales.
Yeah.
Just
Just because
it's
you're
just
a
the
romance
market.
author. Yeah.
Exactly.
I told myself going into this, like, obviously I would love eventually for my books to become a part-time income just passively.
Yes.
Like, that's my goal. I would love to make millions and live off of it, but I would really love for all of this work to just cover some bills on the back end in the
Mm-hmm.
future. Uh, but I told myself this is an internship. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is my internship into it, and I've learned a lot. I've failed a lot, and if I can't make it through the internship, do I really deserve to have the like
No.
the payoff of the part-time job that just keeps coming in? Because it's a lot of
I
work. You have to set up. Like, if I want a lifetime income, I can expect it in 3 months. It's gonna take
no.
7 years.
I mean, I've been at this for a year. I've started to see a slow uptick in Kindle Unlimited reads and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And it's not a lot. I'm not making hundreds a month, but it's interesting to see that you're starting to get that mini uptick. And yeah, my reviews are still kind of low. My first book is slowly, like I said, it's slow. Um, but yeah, like you said, I remember reading about that philosophy of 20 books to 50K. Once
Mm-hmm.
you're a published author making quality books, like don't just post BS. But if you have 20 quality books in your backlog that you have published, you can start you can start to hope to make 50K of passive income a year,
Yeah.
which I don't even need that. My big goal right now is my profits fund a book. That would be
Yeah.
cool if I could make a book for zero
They fund
cost
each
out of my
other.
pocket.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be great for me because right now this is a hobby. I love making funny content on TikTok. I love writing. I love working on art. Like it's fun for me. And I have a lot of like I've had a couple people reach out to me, like local people, meet me up at the cafe and they're asking me questions about my writing journey and I go, "Do you like doing it?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" I go, "You need to like all of it. Not just the
Mm-hmm.
brainstorming in the shower and the Pinterest vision boards. Those are fun, those are aesthetic. Do you like, you know, you need to put aside, and I told them this, I'm like, for the past year and a half, this has been a part-time job. I'm putting aside 10 to 20 hours a week to work on this. And it's not just
Yeah.
writing, it's editing, it's marketing, it's doing things like this, building a community with people, writing, plotting, working. I have a team. Like, I have a team. I have a cover designer. I
Yeah.
have a character art designer. I have an editor. I have a voice act, like an audiobook narrator. That's a team. I'm a manager. I'm managing all of that. If you don't like all of that,
Yeah.
I highly recommend be a Wattpad writer, do it for free, do it for fun, because it's a lot. And you're going to be doing it for
It
free
is.
anyway.
It's a commitment.
Hmm.
Yeah. Actually, going to be paying to do it. That's what you're going to be doing. Is you're going to be paying to do it. Um, at
And
least in the
and that's the
beginning.
next thing too is people will message me being like, "Oh, we love your covers," and "Oh, like your books they have," and you probably have been through this too. Like your books they're editing it like there's no grammar mistakes and they're like, "How much can I expect to pay?" And I'm like, "Hold the phone." Everyone's different.
Yeah.
And also, I don't want to be always disclosing how much disposable income I have to put towards a book. Because some people
Yeah.
can put tens of thousands of dollars into one book. And I'm like, good for you, man. Some people,
That's
they
awesome.
gotta, yeah, they're operating on a budget. And it's like I'm somewhere in between, right? And it depends on how long your book is. It depends on how custom you want your cover to be. It depends on if you're just doing an ebook release. And I can't respond to that in a comment section post, which is drives me
No, there's
insane.
so much that goes into it. Yeah. I think the best part of all of this I've learned is I spent 2024 building my team. That's what I was like. Somebody asked me, like, what's my best advice? Um, and my best advice is
Hmm.
always take advice and then only keep what you like what works for you.
Yeah,
But really, the best advice was build your team from the beginning.
yeah,
Like, build
yep.
your team from the beginning. I'm struggling right now. Actually, I have the opportunity with this prequel to kind of reset, but I'm struggling as we hit book 3. I've had a lot of my readers who've been with me for like 4 years.
Hmm.
Life is in the way and they're like, I
Oh,
can't read. And I'm like, that's okay.
yeah.
I get it. But finding new readers to start at book 1 and beta read all the way through book 4 that's a huge commitment I'm asking from people. I'm like, will you go ahead and read my, these 4 books?
Hmm.
So I have to start rebuilding.
I'm
But this book 4,
fortunate.
the prequel, can be like it could be like a true prequel where if they actually read
Hmm.
this one first, it's a completely different experience, and I'm gonna actually try that out and see how that works because
You put up a good
you
point.
meet
Like
characters
I'm
in a
coming across that issue,
yeah.
huh? I'm coming across that issue
No,
with
go
my
ahead.
series because now I'm on book 3, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm psyched because I have arc readers. I have a solid group of maybe 4 arc readers. And I know some authors who are like, I have like 20 and then I have a whole division of beta readers and I go, good, like congrats, like that's incredible. One, I hate asking people to do stuff for me. So this is hard.
Same,
Like me even
same.
asking for arc readers is crazy. It is hard because yeah, how many people are you gonna get for book 3 when obviously you have a bottleneck now? I've been fortunate that I've picked up a couple arc readers who, in the interim of me writing book 3, have read book 1 and 2 and are like, give me book 3. And I'm like, wonderful. But
Yes.
it's still an issue. And I know people are like, you need to have beta readers to tear your manuscript down so you're writing something quality and and I'm like, I I have one beta reader and I don't my editor, I'm
Yeah.
fortunate, is a friend, and so she kind of beta reads for me too. She's like, all right, like this part's slow, this part like I'm like, guys, I don't have an army. And sometimes I feel like my stories
No.
aren't gonna be good because of it. But it's art. Do you
It's the
think some of the
quality of yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, it's the quality of your readers more so than the amount of your readers.
I mean, you can't even think about it. If you have a 400-page book and you have 10 people reading it and they're all giving you feedback, chances are you're just going to be neutral in your feedback because what
Mm-hmm.
3 people are really going to like, 3 other people are going to hate. And so in my head, while I subscribe to the belief that you should have people look at your stuff, you're an artist. Your decisions, for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
are yours. And some people are going to like something, some people are not going to like other things. I have one beta reader to be like, hey, were you engaged? Did this book bore you to death? And then my editor comes through and she looks for plot holes and she tells me when things are slow. And then I send it to my ARC readers. And by this point, everything's almost ready for publishing. I just want my ARC readers to be like, if there's a huge glaring issue that I need to fix in the next 2 weeks,
Yep.
what can I fix? And that's kind of where my
Yep.
headspace is at. I'm like, this is my art, this is my craft. If I'm taking a million people's opinions, at what point does that stop becoming my work?
And that's 100% true. And I think sometimes authors do get caught up in wanting to please everybody. And like, you can't.
Yeah.
This is your baby. Not everyone's going to like what you're like. You have a kid. Not everyone's going to like your kid. Like, it doesn't like your
Yeah.
kid can,
Fair enough.
you know, like they could be a little snot, but you absolutely love them. Like, that's fine. Same thing with your books.
Hmm.
They can, people, it's not for
And it's
everybody. Um,
the other thing too in my head is like, and I just thought about this too. It's like, if you have a ton of beta readers telling you what to do, and you modify your manuscript to the point where you're trying to please all these people, might as well just go traditional. because that's what you're going to be getting in traditional is
Mm-hmm.
they're going to change your manuscript to the way they want it. If you're doing indie, it's because you have an idea for
Yeah.
your story and you don't want someone else to change it. Like I said, once again, I am not opposed to feedback, critical feedback. If there's a slow point in my book,
Yes.
or if my book is boring, or if
Tell
there's
me.
a glaring, um, yeah, glaring plot hole, yes, please tell me. Please tell me. If you don't like what a specific character is acting like, okay. I mean, so it's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Like
at some point it's
I
like
use
maybe
my
I'm just coping
beta
and trying to
readers.
justify.
Cool. Yeah. So beta readers. I have a like a team of beta readers who each have a specific reason. Um, I have my alpha reader who she reads
Mhm.
everything as soon as I spit it out unedited, and that's because words of affirmation are uh, my
Yes.
love language, and I need to hear that it's good. Because if no one tells me it's good, it's bad, and then I won't finish writing it. Um, so her only job is to read it and tell me whether or not it's good. And she'll be like, "This doesn't make any sense," like blah 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 blah. And then I have ones who just check to make sure that my internal thoughts made it onto the page. So
Mm,
they're like, "Why do they do this?" And I'm like, "Because this happened." And they're like, "Where?"
what happened? Yeah.
Where did it happen? I think you forgot to write it. Um, and then I've got a couple whose only job is to like give me honest feedback,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
that's
I
it.
I have a beta reader now who, yeah, she's basically just tell me if it's good or bad. And she used to be an ARC reader, and then she was like, I need book 3 immediately. And so I was like, do you want to become my beta reader? And so it kind of organically happened. And I was really honored because I don't know, like I said, I don't like asking people for stuff. So when she was asking me, I'm like, whoa, okay, you can have it. This is incredible. This never happened to me before. So yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
then yeah, I have
super
my
humbling too. I have a beta reader who I met in person, and because I met her online, and then I happened to be in the state she was in, and she was like so excited to meet me. I'm like, I don't think you understand how excited I am to meet you, because like
seriously. I feel like people have
you
this
liked my
preconceived
stuff.
notion of writers of like, you guys are so cool. And I go, no, you guys are cool. Because I'm just in my basement doing me. And someone actually likes what I'm doing? What? I feel like they
Yeah,
all think we're like
it is so
a
humbling.
Stephen King or like a James Patterson. Like they think we're on that caliber. And we're like, we're not. You are why we're here. So yeah, it's incredible.
100%. Oh man, I forget what we were talking about besides beta
I know we were
readers.
talking about beta readers. Yeah, yeah, because that was yeah, I was saying like how kind of hard it is because of like the series and stuff, and how
Oh,
you were saying like the prequel. I here's my opinion on prequels, and you can agree or disagree. I want a prequel to take place so far in the past that there's no plot armor going on. Like you know
mm-hmm.
how things are gonna end up, but it's far enough removed from the original story that maybe it's 100 years in the future. Okay, most of the people are gonna be dead. So you
Yeah,
don't know why they died. And that makes more sense to me than like, oh, I'm gonna do a prequel 10 years in the future. Unless you're like a Star Wars where there's enough going on that you can have a prequel stand on its own, push it back further. So then
yeah.
it's its own story instead of just, oh, this is technically book 1 in the series and you can ignore book 1 in the actual series because this is now book 1. Because that's what it feels like to me if you do a prequel close enough to the original series.
Yeah, you should have just started there. Yeah, this one is. Yeah, this one's. I had that same problem with prologues because I was
Okay.
like, this was like a hot topic, and I decided not to call it a prologue because people don't read prologues apparently.
Which is so stupid.
I'm like, if I wrote it, you should read it. So I've
Yeah.
just labeled them all chapter one, so people will
Yep.
read them, but they all happen 10 to 15 years prior,
Yeah.
and you need the information in the book. Like, you need these nuggets to understand what I want you to see throughout the book that my characters don't know yet. Like, this is for
Yeah.
your reading experience. Can you go without it? Yeah, but then you're going to ask me a bunch of questions at the end, be like, but what happened here? And what, dude, I answered that
I had it.
in the
Well, that's not your
prologue.
problem. Yeah.
Like, so
I
I labeled them chapter 1 after like the heated debate. Like, I posted in one of the Facebook groups and I was like, hey, do you guys read prologues? And it was heated. And I'm like, oh.
if you are reading sci-fi or fantasy, the amount of lore that goes into those stories, you don't read sci-fi and fantasy or sci-fi fantasy if you're not willing to delve into the lore, because
Yeah.
that's what's most important. Go read romance where prologues don't need to happen. If
Yeah.
there is a prologue, there's a reason for it. And I get it. I get it. We've all
Some
been
people don't
burned
do
on
it
some
right. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all been burned on some prologues where you're reading it and you're like, I don't care, it doesn't matter. And I get that. But at the same time, if you're reading these genres, it's for the love of the game. And the game is in the prologue. The lore is in the prologue. And I will die on this hill. But at the same time, yeah. If your prologue feels like a chapter 1, label it chapter 1. If your prologue is removed from the story, there's no way to connect it to the next chapter, then it's a prologue. Like, all of my prologues are usually I write like 10 years ago or like 21 years ago. So
Yep, that's what I do.
we're not going
And
in
they're
a
always from a different character that you don't normally
right.
get to see.
That me too. So like a prologue, I want to feel different. And an epilogue. Prologue and epilogue are super important. And they exist because they don't operate in the natural arc of the story. They are for your edification. They are for, like, for me, a prologue is usually a side story that will have some meaning to the following book, where it's like, okay, I'm going to introduce you to some characters, what they were doing 10 years ago, because a good story happens before the original plot starts being told. And then my epilogue is the same way. My epilogue goes, okay, it's almost like a Marvel post-credit scene. It's like, okay, here we go. This is going to hold you over. This is going to tell you who's going to start moving pieces around in the next book. Read it, please. So, I mean, that's just bad reading at that point. It's not my fault if you don't read it. Like, that's where my headspace is at. I refuse to answer questions that have been answered in one of these chapters.
Yes.
I don't know. That's me being salty, though.
Yeah. I went back and forth on this a lot, and then I had to make a decision in book 2, like what way I was going, because I think in book 1 originally it was a prologue, and then book 2 and book 3 I was like, nope.
How far in the past
the prologue is so it was book 2, because book 1 doesn't have a prologue. Book 2 does, and it's 10 years.
Right.
I think it's 10 years in the past. And then the next one is 8 years in the past for book 3.
I guess you've kind of avoided the issue then, because I feel like people who skip content in a book are people who aren't engaged in the story yet. Like, they don't care enough. And I feel like if you don't have a prologue in book 1, but then you have one in book 2, you're already presuming that people are coming back for a reason. So yeah, I feel like you've dodged the problem at that point. In a way.
Yeah, I've thought about renaming it because I can re-upload as many times as I want because I own the program. So I thought about going in and like updating it, but it's just a lot of work for no reason at this point.
I mean, it's all just creative
Had
choices.
the audiobook out.
And
so they'd say chapter 1 instead of prologue.
I've made some changes to my first book since the audiobook came out, but it was like small changes. Nothing
Me too.
Crazy.
Like,
but I'm also like
here or
I'm like, no one's gonna care enough.
Well,
my you have to
narrator, my narrator, he'll be like in character and he'll change dialogue just naturally, and he sounds so good. I'm like, fuck it, it's staying. Like,
keep it. Yeah,
you sounded so good when you said that. Like, it stays.
I mean, most of the time,
the creative piece.
right. And I remember my narrator, he was like, "Oh, like give me some direction on this character." And I'm like, "Dude, at the same time, this is your name is on it. So take whatever spin you want to take." Like he's like, "Do you pronounce this character this or this?" I go, "Honestly, like if you're looking at the etymology from the actual culture and that's how they pronounce it how you want. Add the accents you want. Do what you want to do. Put in as much effort as you want that's not hindering you, but also is true to the story. You know what I mean? Like take some creative license. It's not 100% my project anymore,
Yeah,
but
I think the audiobook's my favorite part right now. Getting the Netflix series is going to be my favorite part, or
hmm
HBO series. Maybe HBO, it's a little bit dark. Um, but right now, the audiobook is my favorite part.
the audiobook is
I
nice.
had
I
a
enjoy.
character. I had a character I absolutely hated. Like I
Yeah,
hated from the very, very beginning. And the way my narrator portrayed him, I regretted killing him. And I was very upset at the end of the book that I couldn't bring him back because I loved
yeah.
how much he did with him.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like you see it in a different way because you're so used to showing the world to everyone through your lens that now it's like I remember like Zach, my audiobook narrator Zach, and he would read some dialogue in a different way than I had in my head. And then I'm like, I'm not going to change it because that's how he saw it. And it worked with the plot. And so I go, oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, most of the reason why I picked him is my books are very sarcastic in nature and there's a lot of comedy in them, even though they are dark like your books. I picked him because he knew how to deliver those lines. He knew how to deliver the sarcasm and the smarminess and this like and he knew how to land the jokes how I wanted them to land. And I feel like that
Yeah.
was my main fear with my book is I'm like I don't want you to dryly land these jokes. Like these jokes need to hit. And so far they have, which has been a pleasure to listen to. Because then
I'm
I find myself
excited
laughing at
to
my own
dive
jokes
in.
and I'm
I can't
like
listen, I find myself hilarious. There are some funny jokes in my book, and so when I'm either
mhm,
rereading it or I'm like listening to it, I'll be laughing and my kid's like,
yeah.
what are you listening to?" I'm like, "Oh, my book." And my daughter's like, "Oh my god, you're so funny." I'm like, "I
Well, then
know."
it
Thank you.
changes the joke too when someone else is reading it because then they add their own little flair to how these characters are
Mhm.
reacting. And it like I think that's why the audiobook is also my favorite part because you're like I am seeing it in a different way than because
Yeah.
you're alone imagining and now it's someone else is imagining with you and you get to see their own spin on the story. Which is
Yeah.
also why I can't wait until you do a cover designer as well because it's always fun to see how they picture your story, how they picture your world, or what they find
I
important with your
can't
story to put
wait.
on a cover. What are you
I
waiting for?
cannot wait.
So,
As soon as I
excuse me.
um since I've already started it, like, and we're
Yeah,
book 4 in now, like, I don't want
yeah.
to change the covers. So I'm going to finish out with the covers I started with, and then I'll do a
Mm.
re release,
Oh, I
like,
love
special
that.
edition. Yeah. So, on a business perspective, like, I'm planning, like, this is the next marketing, this is the next business thing. But I've already committed. After I did
Mm.
the second book, like, with the same design and different colors, I, like, committed myself to it. And I've
Yeah.
had people who, like, I talked about doing a special edition and they're like, "You're changing the cover?" I'm like, "No, no, I won't, because I hate that when covers don't match on my shelf too."
I
Like,
was
I
gonna
won't do
say
that to you
these sound
guys.
like bookshelf warriors. Like they have their bookshelf a specific way. I get it. No, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly, I have Freya, my cover artist, booked out for my last two books already. So I already know that I have her because, like you said, I want the same. It needs all my covers
Mm-hmm.
look different, but they have a similar thread through them because I wanted different. I wanted each book to have its own feel, but I wanted them to feel like they were in a series as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love being an author. It's so much fun. I like being an
It is
indie author because
fun.
I can make these decisions. Like,
I did say in
it's fun.
so this series I've been writing since like late high school, early college, and I rewrote it. So I have the whole series plotted. and I'm just taking each book and rewriting the book using the story I already kind of drafted from before. So I also think that's why I'm avoiding more plot holes than some people who are just pantsing it, because I already know how the story was already written and how I want to change it. But that being said, this series is my baby
Mm-hmm.
because I've had it for so long that I wanted complete creative control over it. And so whatever book I write next, I think I'll be
Yeah.
less attached to. And maybe now that I'll have a series underneath my belt and an understanding of the publishing process, I might try traditional because that's a great way to get your name out there and get the books that you love that you wrote yourself more attention. So I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
maybe the next time around I will query once I'm more mature as an author. I don't know. What do you think on traditional versus indie?
I think they both have really important like pathways
Yeah.
and connections. I tried querying the book
Mm,
the first time. Um,
yeah.
and I was looking for the validation. I think that's what it was. I was looking for the
Yeah.
validation of somebody in the business telling me I was good enough. And I did a Twitter pitch party thing back when that was like, that's how you can get an agent is you do a Twitter pitch.
Mm,
And I almost made it to the end twice with the same mentor. So like you put up a like you put in a pitch and
mhm.
then mentors can select, then you send them the manuscript and then they can decide if they want to be like your mentor and then they help you get it ready for an agent and then you pitch it to the agent. And twice I got all the way to the end, like right before selection, and the guy ended up going with someone else. And after the second time, I just messaged him. I'm like, can I just ask why you passed on it? He's like, I was so excited to see your manuscript again. He's like, I just can't say why I went with the other one. I just, something about it pulled me more than yours, but yours is fantastic. And I'm like, why am I waiting for somebody on somewhere to tell me
Yeah.
it's good? Like, I've worked on it for 10 years. I know it's good. Um, so uh, that was like my push to indie because I'm like, I can do this. Like, it's a good book. Um, I also had a couple agents who were interested in it, but they wanted something shorter to
Mm,
fit the
yeah.
genre, which is thriller. And it was too long. And they're like, oh, trim it down. Like, there was nowhere to trim it. I spent like a year trying to trim it down. I'm like, I lose a lot of the story that I love
Hmm.
that, like, when we try to like streamline it. And someone's like, just write something else. And then come
Hmm.
back to it. I'm like, I'm, I spent 10 years pouring my soul into this. I'm not
Yeah.
putting it aside so I can get an agent who might be able to get me somewhere. Like,
Well, that was the thing is and this is another thing when people ask me about like my writing and stuff, I just go, before you even s call a cover designer an editor or do your research.
mm-hmm.
There's a ton of authors on YouTube who talk about, Ingram Spark versus KDP. Know the difference. Like, know
Yes.
the difference. Know the pros and cons of everything. And then also know the pros and cons of indie versus traditional. And the more I did research, and this was the thing, I was doing the research in college for traditional, the more I was like, this looks
They
like
don't
a
even do
waste of
anything for
time.
you.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and I was reading everything and I'm like, so you're telling me I need to pay for an editor to clean up my manuscript. I need to put all this time in for this book. And then I need to query and pray to the gods that, once again, there's no metric. There's no, oh, your
No.
book's good, we're going to put you in a camp. There's only if you're lucky. If your
If
agent is
they were
looking.
Yeah, if they were feeling it that day. And
Mhm,
it goes through the slush pile first. So was the
mhm.
intern in the mood to read that, or were they in a bad mood and they just passed everything that they looked at because they weren't in a reading mood that day?
Hmm. And that was the thing is I was hearing all these stories and I'm just like, like you, I know my stuff is good. I know I have a story here. I don't want to put myself through that of, okay, let's spin the dice, like let's roll the dice, see what happens. Like, yeah, there's a chance I could get it, and there's a chance I could waste months, years pouring into this, getting rejection after rejection. I understand that's how you get somewhere, but I think I hate gambling. I hate chance. I like knowing that what I have is because it's good. And I just was seeing all these stories of, oh, well, my agent passed on this because we're looking for XYZ character and XYZ representation in this kind of story. Or your story is good, but it's too similar to this current book that's in publication. So we're going to pass. And then even if you get a deal, it's not guaranteed. Your
Yep.
agent takes a cut, and then the publishing company takes a cut, and you have no say in any of it. And I'm
Yep.
like,
They change your title, they change your cover. They could tell you they don't like the characters, you got to change the names. Like,
they could tell
all
you that
these.
they want you to be a ghostwriter, and this title is going to go underneath a larger writer's name. It's like
Yep.
anything could happen, and I just was like, this book is my baby. And then yeah, then I publish, and you've probably gotten this before. Wow, this book is better than this this Tor House
Yep.
publishing book that I just read, and I'm like, yeah, like it's a story. The only difference between me and that author is that author either threaded the needle perfectly or they had connections. I,
That's it.
that's it. And yeah,
That's the
100%.
only difference.
Are there bad indie books
And I,
that didn't
oh,
do their due diligence? Yes.
a lot. Yes.
Are there bad indie books? 100%. But there's bad
There's,
traditional books
listen,
too.
sometimes I get so frustrated because I'll read a book and I'm like, how the freak did this get published? And I
Yep.
didn't. Like in
Yeah.
the
Yep.
traditional sense. Like, how did this make it through? And
Mhm.
like my book didn't. And then I had to stop doing that because I was like, I can't compare apples and oranges.
You just get
Like,
frustrated. It's like,
yeah.
and I guess I just didn't want to get into that spiral to hell, like that mental spiral to hell of maybe it was fear, maybe I didn't want to be rejected, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to put my book through all of this, get rejected, know I've been rejected, and then read a traditionally published book and be like, what the hell? Like, this
Mm-hmm.
book is nothing compared to what I have done. And I also know that there's a very good chance that that book was even spades better than my book. And then it went through the watered down publishing company. They watered down
Yep.
everything. So it was not offensive. So it followed their metrics of what sells. And maybe that book was
Yep.
amazing a year ago and now it's not. And I didn't want
Now
that
it's
either.
just okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dietrich
exactly.
talks a lot about that. That like, and I found this too. I love indie books because of the chances the indie authors get to take. Like they get to
Yes.
swing and swing big and see if it works. And you can't do that traditionally published.
Exactly. Didn't he say he was like, I know what you're talking about. He's saying he'd rather
Yeah.
see a big swing and miss than just like bunting the ball and just being
Mm-hmm.
boring. He's like, I'd rather you try something. And I don't know, I feel like while success is harder to get in indie, I also feel like if I get it, I'll know it's mine.
It's so much more rewarding. Yeah.
Versus, okay, I made it to trad. Was it because my book was good, or was it because my book was what they were looking for at that specific time? Myself as an author met the demographic of the author they were looking to publish at that time. What was it? Like, and I don't think I'd like to have all these accomplishments knowing they were just by chance. I feel like that would
Mm-hmm.
bother me a lot. And maybe down the road, like I said, it's almost like I always use this reference of like it's an Ivy League school like um acceptance. Yeah, I will talk crap about Ivy League schools till the cows come home because I think they are a bad metric for who's smart and who's not because it's mostly legacies, blah, blah, blah. But if I got accepted to Harvard, I'm fucking going. I'm going, you know? And I think it's the
Yeah.
same thing with traditional publishing. If I get a deal, I get a deal. And I'm going to be like, yeah. But
Yeah. I did it. Like I hit the lottery.
exactly.
Yeah. So I might reach out because there's no harm in querying
Yeah.
if I know like I can query just to see if there's
Hmm.
interest. It also helps me. It also helps me gauge my elevator pitch
Oh,
because
yeah.
then you can see like if there's like, am I doing a good job? If there's interest in it. But then you have
Right.
to do due diligence anyways because you have to check like the track record of the agent and like there's so I
Well,
spent so much time researching agents that I
yeah,
probably waste a year of writing time. Like I wasted
exactly.
time researching agents instead of writing.
Yeah.
because I was trying to cater to them instead of to my readers.
And that was the other thing too, is I don't want to get into the headspace where I'm writing something to make other people happy. I'm writing for me. And if
Mm-hmm.
something great comes out of that, awesome. I would love to be a full-time writer. That's super cool. But at the same time, you have to look at the reality of traditional publishing. Most of the time, if you're traditionally published, there's there's everyone's like, well, I want to be in a bookstore. Well, there's no guarantee your book gets in a bookstore if you're traditionally published. Unfortunately not.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, I'm going to sell more books. Also not the case because no matter if you're indie or traditional now, they're expecting you to do your own marketing. They're expecting you to have a social media. Like, I did start querying, and I did see some of them were asking you, how many followers do you have on TikTok? How many followers do you have on Instagram? And I just was like, wow, okay,
Yeah.
so this isn't even about if my book's good. It's about if I'm popular. Screw you. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah. Like, can I sell myself? I do like the option, and this is one reason I wanted to go traditionally published, is the networking going outside of writing. So, like,
Right.
the connections to Hollywood, the connections to indie
Yeah.
film, like, they have connections that I can't dream of having at the moment without a lot of legwork. And that is appealing because,
100%. And like I said,
but
I think my next book, I will draft it to be queried because I do want to try that route. I wanted to take this series and I want to have it. Once again, it all circles back to I just want to have this series under my belt so that
yeah.
ID Marie has a completed series that has a decent reputation before,
What
and
is
have
your
it
what is your favorite part of writing that book as an indie? Like, what do you think that, like, you got to do
that I
as an
couldn't as
indie?
like a traditional.
Yeah.
Um, that's a good question. I really like I said, having my team. Like, I really
Mm-hmm.
like that I am in complete creative control. My successes are my own, my failures are
No,
my
no, no.
own.
Like, what you wrote, like,
Oh,
what inside your book, like, what
that you
content.
think I couldn't do with traditional?
Yeah.
It's a
Is there
good
anything
question.
in there that they would have been like, you should change that?
That's I feel like there's a lot of and some people have commented on this, which makes me kind of happy because I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to be dark. There's dark aspects to it. When I
Mm-hmm.
say my book's a Geneva Convention checklist, it is. Um,
Sweet.
I like dark humor. I like cursing. I think my books are adult because I don't want to pull my punches. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a part of it is my books could read as YA, and a part of me thinks if I went traditional, they would clean it up. And they'd be like, all right, we're going to put this out as a YA book
Mm.
instead because YA market is definitely larger. It's almost
Yep.
like how you Marvel could have created a PG-13 Deadpool, but what's the point? Like,
Yeah.
and they took the chance of being like, no, we're going to make this rated R because that's true to the story, that's true to the characters. Same here. I don't like it. I get pulled out when a character is like actively undergoing torture and they're like, what the heck? I'm like, that pulls me out. You're not going to be saying that. I sure as hell will not be saying that.
Yeah. I hear that.
And it's
I
like,
have
I like this.
like
Oh, go ahead.
100 and something f bombs in my
Yeah,
book,
I
and
should
everyone's like,
count.
"That's a lot. That's a lot of swear." I did. I think book two had like
Hmm.
I think there was like 100, and I don't remember. It was high. It was almost 200. And my sister's comment to me was, "There's a lot of swearing in your book." I'm like, "They're assassins, and people are dying around them." Like, I swear when I stub my toe.
Yeah.
Like,
I
what
mean,
do you think they're doing?
swearing is also a part of my slapstick. Like, I really like a character that
Mm-hmm.
gets really pissed off and they just start cussing up a storm. I think it's
I love
funny.
that.
I know my voice actor loves it, and it's like, come on, we're not 12. Like, let's be real. I've been cursing since I was like 15 years old, okay? So
Yeah.
why are we pulling our I think obviously the cursing, obviously the slapstick. I think there's probably some, how when you watch a movie and you read the book and you see like some major characters got deleted?
Yeah.
I feel like if I went traditional, they might have taken my first book and being like, you can get rid of this character, this character, this character. And I'm like, well, all right, that's going to be a big problem by book four because these through lines matter. Like, I feel like I'm afraid a publishing company might not recognize the through lines of my story and be like, all right, well, we need to shave
Yeah,
off X amount of subplots. You don't even need this character. And I'd be like, okay,
kind of
but
do.
yeah, because I'm
Yeah,
an adult book, meaning like I have a large cast of characters. So be an adult and read it. Like that's
hmm,
the other thing. It's like my book isn't young adult because there is politics and characters and all of that.
yeah, I can hear that, man. I'm excited to start yours. I can't start it until after I finish my fourth book.
Understandable. I mean, I'm gonna
I
have
can't
your
even finish
audiobook.
MTs.
Really?
I can't because
You're like, I need to
yeah, because
focus.
I
Yeah.
Epsilon. It's like what? It's a 20, 18 hour. It's long, isn't it?
Yeah, I just downloaded it. And I'll download
I
yours. You sent me a free copy. I'm like, dude, I will download it. Don't worry.
yeah,
Um, it is 20 hours. Yeah.
yeah. I don't have 20 hours, and
I,
I don't I don't have like 5 minutes to like
yeah,
decompress. But I love her narrator so much that I
yeah.
don't listen on to anything. It's on one speed, and I am like, I love listening to it. So I
She does a
don't
great
want to
job.
rush it. Yeah, I don't want to rush it. I want to like immerse myself in that book. But I'm not doing
I
any
mean,
reading until I finish.
I feel bad. My audiobook reading is usually when I'm like commuting to work, and right now I'm on vacation. So I'm like, MT, I'm so sorry. And so I'll do hers and then I'll do yours. So I gotta get back to work first, unfortunately.
That's okay. Um, I, I'm excited though. Yours is on my list. It comes right after MT's. I have a book
I'm
club,
honored.
and
Yeah,
uh, I usually do the audiobook for book club. I usually do it the week before, sometimes like 2 days before, and I listen to it on like
yeah,
3 speed. Uh, but I can't do this month. And I told my book club, I'm like, we're having book club without me reading it,
yeah.
because I have to write a book
I
that's
gotta
not going to
focus. I
be.
gotta lock in. Yeah. I
Yeah.
started a book club at work and it's been such a good time
Yes.
because I'm calling it my work cult. I'm like, I'm eventually just gonna have everyone in there and I'm gonna be the leader. And somehow I've like promoted, like, I have my bosses in my book club, but I'm in charge of the book club. So it's like this weird, like, ha, I'm in
I'm in
charge.
charge now.
Yeah, I'm the captain now. But it's super nice because I started it because we would all be at lunch and people would be like,
Hmm.
we would all start talking about books and we'd all read similar genres, but we all like, not everyone had uniformly read one book or something. And so I started the book club and it's been great because when we're at lunch, everyone's talking about the book.
I
And
love that.
it's so wholesome because it's something work appropriate that's not work
Hmm.
that everyone can participate in. And then once a month, I buy donuts, and we all, because I live in the Mass, I work in Mass, so Dunkin' Donuts
Hmm.
is rampant,
Yep.
and we get donuts, and for an hour, everyone closes their computers and just talks about the book. And we're all nerds, we're all scientists, so it's really, really good discussion, and
I love that.
it's going well, and you get an hour off of work because you're at work. I set up a meeting at work, so it's really nice too
That
because
is
yeah.
fantastic.
Because there's no scheduling problems. We're all here for 8 hours. We'll find a time. But yeah,
Yeah, that's brilliant, actually.
thank you. Yeah, it's going well. And
That's
then I set up a second meeting the following week, and we all bring our books that we want to read, and everyone sits down in a meeting and we vote, and then that's the next book. And it's been going well, which I'm really proud of.
that I love that so much because
Yeah.
that's why I started a book club in North Carolina when I lived there, because I needed a reason to read. And if I don't have
Hmm.
like a deadline, like
Right.
I'll get to it. Um, so that's why I started the book club, and it ended up being huge. Like they're still running it, and it's huge. So when we came out to Okie, I was like, we're gonna do a book club, and every month we pick a different genre, which
Yeah.
it makes me read, and it makes me read a different genre, which is super nice.
It
And
is
it was
nice too
completely
because
selfish to do it, to make sure I read at least 12 books a year.
no, it's great. And then you're also reading books that like you're forcing yourself to read good books,
Hmm.
which sometimes it's like I get caught up in my TBR and now it's like no, this next book we're reading Dark Matter. It's been on my TBR forever. I know it's a good book. Yeah.
I love that book.
And I was so honored because it was the book I proposed and everyone voted for it. I mean, we're all scientists, so it's a sci-fi horror, really, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited now. Okay, if you really liked it, that's like my next
I
read. So that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
read Upgrade by him first, and I really
Okay.
like that. And then everyone's like, you have to read Dark Matter. And I was like, okay. And I read it, and I'm like, but I read it when we first got to Oki, and I had no one to
Okay.
talk about it with. I'm like,
See,
guys,
that's the
this
other
book
thing
is
too.
so good.
Book club guarantees that you have people in your life that you can talk about a book, which is
Yes.
incredible.
Message
But
me
yeah.
when you read it because it's like, it's mind trippy. And
Okay.
then, yeah, like I was like, what the is going on right now? I'm like, and
Yeah, it
then
did
it's
seem
like,
like
yeah,
it seemed like a
you
psychological
spiral.
thriller.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is
Like,
right up your alley. I forgot about that. Like you're Miss Thriller, so okay, makes
yeah,
sense.
it was it was really good. Upgrade was good too. Is more action thriller than like
See, I saw Upgrade. The
psychological.
only reason I know about it is because when I went to the bookstore yesterday to get Dark Matter, they only had Upgrade by Blake Crouch. I was
Hmm.
like, I didn't
So
even know he had another book.
I own that one because we read that one for book club back in Lejeune, and I wish I owned Dark Matter so I could take notes in it. Like I
Ooh,
wish I could have taken
I
notes
like
because
that.
like, but I did it on Kindle, so
I might have to do that. But I do need to head out if that's all right.
yes. No, of
This
course.
has been
This has been
incredible.
yes. We'll do it again for sure. Um, Real quick, where can everyone find you?
Hi, everybody. So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at the moment. Hoping TikTok stays around. We don't
I
know.
hope so.
I'm starting a YouTube channel, but yeah, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at the moment under ID Marie. And I can also send you the link to my website as well.
Yeah, and we'll put it down below. You guys will be able to find her. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you for having me, Libby.